So the summary part of the plant growth and development. Growth is one of the most conspicuous events in any living organisms. It is an irreversible increase expressed in parameters such as size, area, length, height, volume, cell number. Okay, now it conspicuously involves increased protoplasmic material. Okay, in plants meristems are the sites of growth. Root and shoot apical meristem sometimes along with intercalary meristem contribute to the elongation growth of the plant axis. I repeat it again. Root and shoot apical meristem sometimes along with intercalary meristem contribute to the elongation growth of plant axis. Growth is indeterminate in higher plants. It is not determined. Okay, it is indeterminate in higher plants. Now, following cell division in root and shoot apical meristem cells, the growth could be arithmetic or geometrical. Following cell division in root and shoot apical meristem cells, the growth could be arithmetic or geometrical. Following cell division in root and shoot apical meristem cells, the growth could be arithmetic or geometrical. Growth may not be and generally is not sustained at a high rate throughout the life of cell, tissue, organism. One can define three principal phases of growth: the lag, the log, and the senescent phase. Right? When a cell loses the capacity to divide, it leads to differentiation. When a cell loses the capacity to divide, it leads to differentiation. Right? Now, differentiation results in development of structures that is commensurate with the function the cells finally has to perform. Okay, when a cell loses the capacity to divide, it leads to differentiation, means it becomes mature. Now, differentiation results in a development of structures that is commensurate with the function the cells finally has to perform. Generally, principles for differentiation for cells, tissues, and organs are similar. General principles for differentiation for cell, tissues, and organs are similar. A differentiated cell may be de-differentiated and then redifferentiated. So, a differentiated cell, that is a mature cell, they can be de-differentiated. It means they can be regain the capacity to divide again, and then they redifferentiated. That means they mature themselves again. Since differentiation in plants is open, now differentiation in plants is open, right? They can be de-differentiated, they can be redifferentiated. So it is open, it is kind of flexible. The development could also be flexible. That is, the development is the sum of the growth and differentiation. Right? Plant exhibit plasticity in development. Okay, plant exhibit plasticity in development. Now, what is plasticity? It is the ability of plant to show different kind of structures according to the environment or the phases of their life, to get rid of the surrounding. Okay, now the plant growth and development are under the control of both intrinsic and extrinsic factors. Okay, intercellular intrinsic factors are the chemical substances called plant growth regulators. Intercellular intrinsic factors are the chemical substances called plant growth regulators, that is PGR. There are diverse groups of PGRs in plants, principally belonging to 5 groups: auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid, and ethylene. So there are diverse groups of PGRs in plants, principally belonging to 5 groups: auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid, and ethylene. These PGRs are synthesized in various parts of the plant. They control different differentiation and developmental events. Okay, now PGRs, they control different differentiation and developmental events. Any PGR has diverse physiological effect on plants. So PGR having plant growth regulators having physiological effects on plants. Diverse PGRs also manifest similar effects. Now PGRs may act synergistically or antagonistically. Now the PGRs, that is plant growth regulators, they can be act as synergistically, that is the same effect, and antagonistically, that is they showing the opposite effect. The plant growth and development is also affected by light, temperature, nutrition, oxygen status, gravity, such external factors. Plant growth and development is also affected by light, temperature, nutrition, oxygen status, gravity, and such external factors. Now exercises. Define growth. Growth is just an irreversible permanent increase in size, right? Size of organs and anything like that. So define, this is the growth. And growth is unlimited in plants, because of the meristematic tissue. Now differentiation, it's kind of maturation. Okay, then differentiation, then development, it is the sum of the growth and differentiation. Growth, it is a irreversible permanent increase in size of organ and all that. Now and what about the differentiation? After meristematic, the cells get divided, then they become the mature. So this is the differentiation. So development, this is the development. Now de-differentiation, that is breaking of the differentiation, that is breaking of the maturity, so that the cell can get to divide again. Okay, so this is the de-differentiation. Then re-differentiation, it means again, once again they lose the capacity to divide, that means they get matured second time. Okay, now determinate growth, that means the growth is certain, like growth is certain in maybe the animals or something like that, right? Now the meristem and growth rate. Now the meristem and growth rate. So meristem, these are continuously dividing cells, and growth rate, it could be arithmetic and geometrical, right? Why is not any one parameter good enough to demonstrate growth throughout the life of a flowering plant? Okay, why is not any one parameter good enough to demonstrate growth throughout the life of a flowering plant, right? So why is not any one parameter good enough to demonstrate growth throughout the life of a flowering plant, right? Okay, describe briefly arithmetic growth, geometric growth, sigmoid growth curve, absolute and relative growth rates, right? So arithmetic growth, geometric growth, sigmoid growth curve, and absolute and relative growth rates. So arithmetic growth, it is the root elongation. Geometric growth, both the daughter cells divide. Okay, and sigmoid growth curve, that is, it is kind of J-shaped curve. And absolute and relative growth rates, that is absolute, it means a specific amount is increased, that's the absolute. And relative, it means per unit initial parameter. Okay, if something is 10 and if it's growing to 50, and if something is 40 already and if it's going to 50, so more relatively growth occurs in the first one. So this is what it means. Okay, list 5 main groups of natural plant growth regulators. Write a note on discovery, physiological functions, their functions, and agriculture horticulture applications of any one of them. So auxin is the best for it, like they have the agriculture and horticulture applications. And physiological effects, they are like the parthenocarpy, that is banana, they induce the parthenocarpy. Okay, in not in apple, right? Not in apple. So this is it, like, so this is it. So this is it all. Okay, so the natural plant growth regulators, that is the auxin. And auxin, it can be, there is like synthetic auxin or natural auxin. So write a note of discovery. Auxin is given by the I think FW went, right? FW went. So no. Why is abscisic acid also known as stress hormone? Because under the water trace, the stomata gets closed. So why is abscisic acid also known as stress hormone? Okay, now both growth and differentiation in higher plants are open. Comment. Now both growth and differentiation in higher plants are open. Why it is so? Because growth because in plants there is meristematic and the growth is continuous. Okay, and differentiation, that leads to the maturation. Okay, in higher plants they are open. It's because like it can be de-differentiated and redifferentiated. Okay, and then there is a growth. Now both a short day plant and a long day plant can flower simultaneously in a given place. So just remember this line, that both short day plant and long day plant can produce flowers simultaneously in a given place, right? Which one of the following plant growth regulators would you use if you are asked to induce rooting in a twig? Now induce rooting, that is auxin. Quickly ripen a fruit, that is ethylene. Delay leaf senescence, I guess it's cytokinin. Delay leaf senescence. Induce growth in axillary buds. So induce growth in axillary buds, that is removal of the apical dominance caused by the auxin. So it is cytokinin, not auxin. So induce growth in axillary buds. Now bold rosette plant, that is gibberellin. Now induce immediate stomatal closure in leaves. Immediate stomatal closure in leaves is abscisic acid. Would you defoliated plant respond to photoperiodic cycle? Why? Would a defoliated plant respond to photoperiodic cycle? Why? I don't think so. Okay, what would be expected to happen if GA3 is applied to rice seedling? What would be accepted to happen if GA3 is applied to right seedling? If GA3 is applied to right seedling, dividing cells stop differentiating. If dividing cells stop differentiating, that means they are mature. Dividing cells stop differentiating, it means they are redifferentiating. No, they are de-differentiated. A rotten fruit gets mixed with unripened fruits, that is ethylene. I mean, the rotten fruits gets that unripened fruits will be ripened. You forget to add cytokinin to the culture medium, then only shoot system will not grow, only root system will grow. Root system, that is the done by the auxin. Now dividing cells stop differentiating, that is maybe something I don't know, but GA3 is applied to rice seedling. I will cover it in the next session. Alright, anyways, so this is your chapter like plant growth and development, right?